Alright, y'all. So I hadn't made a video in a little bit now. I've been busy for one thing, and another thing, I hadn't really had anything that I felt like needing to do a video on. Anyway, we're in the woods today down here on this little creek, uh, what's known as an SMZ here in the logging business, which means Stream Side Management Zone. If you see those blue flags over there, that means that's as close as we're going to cut up to the line here at the creek. To leave a buffer to protect the water quality in here and leave the trees in this side of this line here and everything. So we really didn't want to cross. We wanted to finish all of this side and then move over there, but the hardwood market's so bad that we can't sell pulpwood very good, stuff like this and all. And we've been getting those loads and then working on pine, but there's really not a lot of pine left, so I think before we get done here, we're going to have to do a crossing, which is not bad. This is a good place here. It's pretty level coming in, and seem like the ground's pretty good. And I'm thinking we're going to go right across here. We have metal bridges for the crossing here, and lays pretty good in here, as best as you can get. These crossings here, a lot of times they're hard to deal with because they're down here and they're in, protected zone. So a lot of this trees is going to be left, which means it's going to be shade down here, which means when it gets wet, it's going to take a while to dry out, and the ground is always not going to be as dry down here as it is up there on top of the hill where the sun and wind gets to it. So that being said, this here is a small, I'd say 6-foot gap here in between the banks, and it's not right on the water where the water be touching the bridge, and it's not really high either. The bank looks good. I don't see a lot of like shelf overhang. You see a little bit there, but this down here where I first come down, as you can see, that's a lot of let's see, there we go. There's a lot of space right there. There's a lot of overhang. That's up probably 3.5, 4 feet higher than this side. This side is a good bank. That side is not. It's going to collapse when you put the bridge in and go across it with the heavy skidder and drags and stuff. All that there is going to come down into the creek, and it's not going to hold up very well, so we don't want to use that. Like I said, this here being a good spot, and there's not a lot of trees in here that I would have to take down to be able to use this spot. This here, it's an okay spot. It's about the same as that over there, but I can't see up under me. You start getting into more, bank overhang and erosion type stuff. You get over here, you got a lot of, trees on the bank here. Down here, you can see it's a uphill. It's a ridge right here that comes down to the creek, which is going to give you more erosion when you pull the drags up through here. It's going to be moving dirt down into the creek, especially when you come across a little bit wet coming uphill like that. It's going to want to spin and dig and cause problems. And down here, as you can see, we've got a fork where we've got more water coming in right here. So, like I said, putting it down there looks like the best spot that I've found so far in this area. should be pretty cut and dry. Throw the bridges in, you know, pack some slash down on each side, and we will have our crossing. This here curves around there, runs around alongside that. So we cross down there on the bottom end, we'll be able to go way up into the track of timber here and completely get away from that secondary stream. Where if we put it right here, which like I said, you can see it right there, so you wouldn't do it, but if you put it here, you'd have to have a second set to cross there and on down the creek this way here. It's still going to be your same, because it looks like it runs for a good ways down through there. Hope we don't find any snakes down here. I'm not a big snake fan. That's why I got me one of these. And I know a lot of people say not to kill snakes, but you know, if I come across a copperhead or a rattlesnake or something poisonous, I want to keep them away from me. Now, as you can see in here, I don't know what these are called, but you see those big leafy plants there? They are usually growing down here in wet areas. You see the rest of that little still water runs down through there, down in these little marshlands. So anywhere in the area you see them things is not somewhere you want to put a crossing. And we want to come down here. Like I said, right here, you wouldn't be able to come put a crossing in here. It's too wide. You've got this downhill slope. You've got the swamp down there. You've got the creek over there. Not going to work. So we want to put these crossings in to be most effective, cost the less money to do and maintain, protect the environment as much as possible, and overall just do the best thing for everybody involved here. It's a really pretty creek down here. A lot of little drainages coming into it. As you can see, up there is definitely the better place to cross. That's what we're going to use. And never mind, my camera got switched. There's a lot of little drainages coming in down through here, right in here and everything. And definitely down there is where we're going to use, you know. And if you look, see how pretty that water is? How clear that water is? The water's flowing down through the rocks. We don't want to disturb this. Hopefully sometime here in the future, I can have some more people on the channel here. You know, a buddy that's, you know, been my dad's buddy for a long time. That is in the Department of Forestry, which handles these kind of things, checking to make sure there's not a problem and doing what they need to do to correct a problem if there is one arise. You know, not to toot our own horn, but we've never had an environmental problem or any, you know, fine or anything against us like that. So hopefully we're doing something right. And I like to do these videos to educate people that maybe don't know this stuff, or, you know, that think logging has a bad image of just coming in and basically raping the land and cutting all the trees and destroying the water. That, at least on our end, we try to do our best to protect it and the wildlife involved, everything like that. So I'd like to have some knowledgeable people here on the channel in the future, and hopefully we can make that happen. Look at this pine right here, man. You don't find them like this very often. It's got a little crook in it, but still it's all right. This is a shortleaf pine. They are called black pine sometimes too. Got this old scaly bark on it. This is a pretty decent poplar here. I've seen some more poplar down that way that are twice the size of this one. Really nice trees. And I'll have to get some of them on video. I'll probably have to cut them with a chainsaw to, keep from busting them and everything like that with a tree cutter. These right here are Virginia pine. It's got a little different bark texture. And we call them spruce, but they're technically called Virginia pine. You see a real scraggly up in the top. They've got a lot of scraggly limbs off of them. Usually the easiest way to tell. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed that, learned something from it, and that'll be all for this video.